During the Korean War, a group of American soldiers were attacked by a strange flying object. Two small beings in skin-tight uniforms seeming to glitch through the air. The US government officially acknowledged Area 51's existence. Out of billions of light years, are we really all alone? After a senior Air Force official saw a spacecraft landing in the forest, forensic tests found that radiation levels were unusually high. Afterward, key documents from the investigation mysteriously went missing. When dozens of school children in Zimbabwe reported seeing a similar thing, research proved they were telling the truth. You might have heard of Roswell and Area 51 before, but when it comes to UFO sightings, these barely scratch the surface. In this video, we dive deep into the world of the unexplained. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 UFO conspiracy theories that'll blow your mind. 25. Project Blue Book. While the US government was dismissing the growing interest in UFOs in the 50s, it was secretly running its own investigation. An operation codenamed Project Blue Book ran for 17 years, amassing over 12,000 reports of UFOs to determine whether or not there were any risks to national security. The final report concluded that there wasn't enough evidence to support any of the claims about UFOs. However, it was criticized, even by former insiders, for not investigating rigorously enough and pushing toward a single conclusion. 24. Pentagon UFO videos. Most UFO footage struggles to find legitimacy or even acknowledgement from officials. In 2017, though, a New York Times report released two videos taken from the cockpit of US jets. Pilots can be heard scrambling to understand what they're encountering, with a fast-moving object moving in their plane's crosshairs. The most stunning part is that there's no clear method of propulsion, as with man-made technology. The most recent UFO program run by the Pentagon began in 2007. It ran in tandem with the aerospace company of Robert Bigelow, who has said he is absolutely convinced that aliens have visited Earth in UFOs. 23. Outer space. On July 20th, 1969, Buzz Aldrin became the second human being to walk on the moon as part of the Apollo 11 mission. But there may have been another historic moment to that trip. According to a disputed account, Aldrin reported to NASA that he had encountered UFOs in space. Years later, in a Q&A, he recounted that on the way to the moon he saw a light, quote, moving alongside the spacecraft, though was convinced that it didn't come from alien life. The secrecy of his account has been used to accuse NASA of a cover-up. 22. Project Serpo. Most UFO conspiracy theories claim government knowledge of extraterrestrial life, but one goes even further. Project Serpo is the name of an alleged secret US program where the government has been communicating with another planet, far outside our solar system. The channel was supposedly established after an alien was rescued from the infamous Roswell crash site, and astronauts may have even been sent there on a top-secret mission. If you think that's out there, well then just wait till we get to number 15. 21. Men in Black. Before the blockbuster comedy movie starring Will Smith, it was UFO theorists who coined the term Men in Black. This was a term used for government agents who would warn citizens from talking about UFO sightings throughout the 50s and 60s. The creator of the International Flying Saucer Bureau claimed to have been silenced for knowing too much. One UFO researcher has called them demonic supernaturals, while others have speculated that they may even be aliens in disguise. 20. Heaven's Gate. The world of UFOs has been intertwined with religion for decades. Back in the 70s, a spiritual movement named Heaven's Gate was founded, which believed a UFO would soon visit Earth to punish anyone not belonging to the group. Over the next 20 years, it attracted a small, loyal following. They believed that the Hale-Bopp comet, which was projected to pass by Earth in 1997, was proof of the imminent arrival of extraterrestrials. Inside the comet was an alien spacecraft signaling the coming rapture. Tragically, in 1997, those beliefs drove them to mass suicides, where 39 members ingested poison in the hopes of graduating to the kingdom of heaven. 19. Jimmy Carter. UFO sightings aren't confined to citizens in remote areas. In fact, on one evening during his 1969 campaign trial, future President Jimmy Carter spotted an unexplainable object. It flashed with vibrant colors, hovering in the air. Carter described it as appearing to be the same size as the moon. After hovering briefly and changing colors, the craft shot away into the distance. This permanently changed his views on UFOs, and he promised to release government research to the public if he won the presidency. When he eventually did, Carter backflipped on this position, leaving many to wonder what he was hiding. 18. O'Hare International Airport Saucer. Airport employees see hundreds of aircraft taking off and landing every day. But what a dozen workers at O'Hare International Airport saw in 2006 stunned them. Hovering above gate C-17 was a huge metallic object shaped like a saucer. The incident was reported to the aviation authorities, but it was classified as a weather phenomenon because of a lack of radar evidence. Other witnesses testified to the same object, estimated to be up to 24 feet wide, gliding through the air at high speeds and disappearing into the sky. 17. Australia's missing files. Often the task of investigating UFO reports fall to journalists, and when an Australian newspaper filed a Freedom of Information request with their government about any UFO sightings, they were suspicious about their response. Mysteriously, all of their files had somehow been lost. In one instance, a rural prison employee claimed to have been silenced by US officials who had a military base nearby. Along with two co-workers, she had witnessed a UFO following their car. One of them was even able to take pictures. But once the US investigators got their hands on them, the pictures were never seen again. 16. Washington, D.C. At the height of the Cold War, the US government was dealing with a problem that threatened to destabilize how safe the public felt. Reports of UFO sightings were rising, and many of them, at least in 1952, were concentrated around the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Between July and August, there were dozens of reported sightings of saucers flying above the city. Some of these even came from pilots and radar operators. Air Force jets were sent to investigate but found that they couldn't keep up. A press conference was quickly called to reassure the public, blaming the sightings on the weather, but too many people had seen something strange. 15. Aetherius Society. UFOs have even gone on to inspire religions. In 1953, the Aetherius Society was founded in England. Followers believe that aliens are on a different spiritual plane from humans. The reason for their sporadic appearance in the sky, at times flashing, is because they become visible to us when their vibratory rate is lowered. The teachings of the Aetherius Society mix Hinduism, nature worship, and psychic energy, and have reportedly attracted thousands of members worldwide. Current missions are aimed at achieving world peace and devic stabilization. And if you think this group is bizarre, wait to hear what a group of students reported in number 8. 14. UFOs shooting sickness. During the Korean War, a group of American soldiers were attacked by a strange flying object, but it wasn't gunfire. Instead, there were waves of white-colored blue-green. The soldiers opened fire, hoping to take down the object, but their bullets simply ricocheted off. One remembers feeling a tingling sensation throughout his body. The object soon disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. However, over the next few days, one by one, each soldier fell violently ill. Eventually, they were all evacuated by ambulance. The nature of the vehicle or its weapons remains unknown, though physicists suspect that the symptoms align with the effect of radiation. The question is, who or what had this kind of technology in 1951? 13. The Dyatlov Pass Mystery. The death of 9 hikers on a remote Russian mountain has, for years, been the center of an intense debate. Their bodies were found frozen with a variety of bizarre injuries: missing eyes, discolored skin, and high levels of radiation. Over a kilometer from their camping site, each of them had rushed to cut their tents open, fleeing from something. Known as the Dyatlov Pass Mystery, it's one of Russia's most enduring mysteries. A number of official investigations hit dead ends. Some believe that extraterrestrial objects might hold the answer. The lead investigator heard that there were sightings of glowing and pulsating objects in the sky and noticed that trees were strangely burnt on their tops. 12. Chemtrails. This conspiracy theory claimed that chemicals were being sprayed out of the back of planes. The reason? Well, it varies from weather control to poisoning the population. Observers point to the long white streaks sometimes left behind by airplanes as an example. It's claimed that these are different from contrails, or condensation trails, which are created when water vapor comes into contact with low ambient temperatures outside the aircraft. Back in the mid-20th century, areas of Britain were sprayed with chemicals as a part of testing the capability of germ warfare. A similar test was carried out in San Francisco. These tests were top secret, leaving many to question whether governments are still hiding something. 11. Area 51. The holy grail of all UFO conspiracy theories, Area 51 is a secretive American military facility in Nevada, 75 miles north of Las Vegas. Inside, researchers develop and test aerospace technology. According to many, though, there's a much more sinister function. Reports of unidentified flying objects circulated the area since it was established. These were intensified when Robert Lazar, who claimed to have been an ex-employee on the site, went public with allegations that Area 51 was indeed studying alien spacecraft. It wasn't until 2013 that the US government officially acknowledged Area 51's existence. 10. Rendlesham Forest. In the early hours after Christmas Day in 1980, there were sightings of bright lights descending into Rendlesham Forest in the east of England. A glowing colored light was seen by U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, who was on station nearby along with what appeared to be a landing site. 2 days later, radiation levels were taken, finding high readings right where the craft was spotted. 30 years later, in 2010, Lieutenant Holt stood by his experience and even signed an affidavit that he believed the events were linked to extraterrestrial life. Mysteriously, key documents from the investigation have gone missing. 9. Nikola Tesla contacts aliens. Famed inventor Nikola Tesla brought the world countless inventions. At the turn of the 19th century, he was carrying out experiments into wireless communication in his reclusive Colorado Springs laboratory. One night, he declared that he had received a message from another world in the form of coded tapping. He estimated that the signal was originating from Mars, around 62 million miles away. Astonishingly, he was later proven right. Researchers replicated Tesla's measurements and found that there were similar signals, a natural phenomenon coming from one of Jupiter's moons. 8. Westall. Just south of Melbourne, 200 students and schoolworkers from Westall High School witnessed an extraordinary shape in 1966. What they later described as a large mechanical object shaped like a saucer moving rapidly above. The incident was seen by local residents too, and even captured in a grainy black and white photo. A teacher who was working at the school at the time later revealed that Air Force officers threatened to have him fired for speaking out. 7. The Belgian UFO wave. A single sighting is one thing, but when over 100 people in Belgium saw exactly the same object, it became harder for authorities to dispute. The reports, first made in November 1989, featured a huge triangular-shaped aircraft with 3 bright lights attached. These were backed up by radar detection from a traffic control center. When the next sighting happened in March of the following year, 2 Air Force jets were scrambled to chase it down. By the time they reached the reported area, pilots were able to catch glimpses of unusual behavior. Astonishingly, the fighter jets were never able to catch up. Over time, reports faded and became less frequent. However, there was never any satisfying explanation for what happened. 6. Barney and Betty Hill. Driving home one evening, a couple on their way back to New Hampshire from Niagara Falls reported seeing a strange light in the sky, silently following their vehicle, gliding through the air and enlarging as it closed in on them, and stopping them in their tracks. Barney and Betty Hill remember seeing humanoid-like figures at the edge of a pancake-shaped aircraft. Strange occurrences followed, including finding their clothes ripped, their watches malfunctioning, patterns on their car, and an unknown pink powder. Even more bizarre was that more details were revealed through several sessions of hypnosis, where the Hills described beings as small, with gray skin and dark eyes. The features are eerily similar to number 1 on the list, so don't go anywhere. 5. Alien Autopsy. To much anticipation, a 17-minute-long amateur-style video was broadcast on Fox television, claiming to be the real-life autopsy of an alien that had been recovered by U.S. military. The black and white footage was, at times, pixelated and distorted. It showed what appeared to be government lab workers dressed in hazmat suits and surrounded by medical instruments, cutting open and inspecting the body of an alien. The body is lifeless, with smooth skin, large bright eyes, and is presented completely naked. More than a decade after the video's release, 2 producers behind the film claimed that, while it was not entirely authentic, it was a reconstruction of footage that had been damaged. 4. Roswell. More famous than any other incident in UFO history, Roswell has earned a place in history. In 1947, the U.S. Army revealed that they had recovered what was described as a flying disc from a rancher close to Roswell, New Mexico. The nature of the finding was quickly changed when it began to be classified as a weather balloon. However, it was too late. Much of the public was convinced that the first concrete evidence of aliens had been found. Some eyewitnesses claim to have seen alien bodies being extracted from the area. In 1994, the U.S. Air Force claimed that the disk was debris from a classified spying operation targeting the Soviets. 3. Majestic 12. According to one documentarian, Jamie Shindera, a mysterious roll of film was delivered to his home one night in 1984. After developing the pictures, he realized that they were 8 pages of top-secret documentation, revealing that a secret group of scientists, engineers, and government officials had been tasked to investigate the incident in Roswell. The paper stated that 4 humanoid-like beings had been recovered from the Roswell crash in 1947. An FBI investigation found no truth to the claims and concluded they were a forgery. However, some details included in the document align with other classified information, meaning it was likely created by someone inside the intelligence field. 2. Mexican alien babies. When 2 mummified bodies were presented to the public in the Mexican Congress, it created more questions than answers. As the session was live broadcast, viewers were able to see a non-human figure, with outstretched heads and only 3 fingers on each hand. According to the journalists who presented them, they were found in rural Peru and have been carbon dated to 1,000 years old. Skeptics were quick to dismiss the bodies as a hoax. However, several tests carried out by laboratories, including by the Mexican Navy's Scientific Institute for Health, found that there was no evidence of assembly or manipulation. 1. Ariel school incident. Usually UFO sightings are confined to a small group of people, but there was nothing usual about the Ariel school incident. On an otherwise normal Friday morning, children at the Zimbabwe school began hearing a buzzing sound, as though something was vibrating through the air. Seconds later, a silver object flew overhead and landed nearby. After rushing over, all 62 children claimed to see the same thing. 2 small beings in skin-tight uniforms seeming to glitch through the air. Whenever they made eye contact, the children could feel telepathic communication. The school children were individually interviewed by a psychiatrist. He found all of their accounts to be consistent. After a comprehensive investigation, there's still no explanation for the strange object or the strange creatures. So, do you think that UFOs have visited Earth before? Or is it all a misunderstanding or a hoax? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the list, you will love 25 UFO experiences that'll make you wonder if we're not alone. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out our social medias, including my personal ones. Links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I love you all, and as always, I'll see you next time. Unless I get abducted.